What is a mind trick you know of? You know that awkward moment when you and a stranger are walking towards each other, but need to get past each other and you get confused and end up doing a left to right dance? Not for me. When I walk through large crowds of people, to avoid walking into anyone, I simply stare at my destination. I look no one in the eyes. People actually will watch your eyes and they avoid the direction you are going. If I look into people's eyes as we are walking into each other, we are sure to collide. You have to let people know where you intend to go with your eyes. It always works for me. Try it. Your turn. Teach me some good mind tricks. In class, if it's a presentation where someone has to present without looking at notes or anything like that, and while they're up in front of classroom presenting, some people forget what they're talking about, space out, freak out, and lose their train of thought. To counter this, nod your head at the end of each sentence they say, confirming what they're saying. They will somehow use this as a motivator and 9 times out of 10 will keep presenting without fault. You're a regular good guy, Greg. If you're in a crowded social group, restaurant, bar, party, etc., and you want to know if someone is checking you out, try this. Turn sideways from them. There will be either 90 degrees right or left of you. Then very obviously, look at your watch. Even if you don't wear one, lift your wrist, then point at your watch and nod thoughtfully. Overacting is perfectly acceptable. If they are keeping tabs on you, even peripherally, they will have a sudden urge to know the time and will either look at their own watch, cell phone, or casually look at the various obvious places where someone would put a clock. Edit. So yawning seems to be another method. However, do you think the world's most interesting man would more likely be seen yawning or looking at his watch in a social setting? I'm a paramedic. When a patient is possibly faking unconsciousness, we have 2 tricks to determine if they're really unconscious or not. First, you can lightly brush their eyelashes with your finger. Their eyes will flutter if they're faking it. Alternatively, if they're on their back, you can lift their arm over their face and let it go. A conscious person will drop their arm away from their face. Finally, a trick to see if someone is faking a neck injury or neck pain. Put a thermometer in their mouth while checking their vitals. Then ask them a yes or no question while looking them in the eyes. If you aren't looking directly at them, they tend to answer with a strained aha or UNH. But if you're looking directly at them, they will usually nod their head. Someone who is faking the pain can do this with ease. And yes, there are a lot of calls where people fake pain, illness, etc., for various reasons. If you're trying to find something, try looking right to left as opposed to left to right. Your eyes tend to scheme over things if you search in the direction you are used to reading in. So scheme the opposite way. It takes me a bit more effort to do this, but I notice more details. If I need to remember to do anything at all the next day, I will put something in my room out of place. This works every time. Say for example, I really want to remember to email my professor before leaving for class. I will put a movie on the floor. I will initially think, why is that alright, email Ernie? A key technique for me. Doesn't work if there's already a bunch of it on your floor. Then clean up. Why did I clear? Oh right. Nice try, Mom. If you ask a question and receive only a partial answer, respond with polite silence. Simply wait. A more complete answer will usually follow. This works wonders in face-to-face conversation. Just look at them and wait. Many people can't stand the void and will fill it with more information. During a job interview, you want to keep eye contact with the person you're talking to. It makes you seem more alert and confident. Here's the trick. Every 5 or 10 seconds, switch the eye you're looking at. It's such a small motion that the other person can't see it, but it makes your eyes look like they're sparkling, which makes you look very interested in what the other person is saying. Probably works for dating too. Clarification. Some people have asked for clarification on how this is supposed to work. On the small motion part, you have to be a few feet away from the other person. Otherwise, the angle your eyes have to shift to look at the other eye is easily noticeable. On the sparkling, since your eyes aren't perfectly spherical, when they move, the reflection of any lights in the room changes slightly. If the movement is small enough, all the other person sees is the light's reflection moving on your eye, thus sparkling. Disclaimer. Apparently some people can tell what you're doing and find it very annoying. If you're trying this and you get weird looks, you should probably stop. Or if you want to frick your boss. There's something in sales called a Sullivan nod. Basically, when you're asking someone something, nod up and down while you're asking. Their mirror neurons start firing and they begin nodding and agreeing with you subconsciously. 60% of the time it works every time. I found that this doesn't work so well for telesales. I live in inner city Akron, Ohio. Needless to say, there was a pretty high crime rate around the university center, so I took a self-defense course at the university and learned the best self-defense tricks I could have never thought of. Act crazier than the person attacking you. I'm talking mental patient on PCP with a bad case of Jack Nicholson insane. 9 times out of 10 they will see you as unpredictable and not want to even mess with you. For example, I was across the street from my apartment at a Circle K buying a 40 and a pack of smokes at about midnight 30, and this guy comes up from nowhere and asks me if I want to make some money. I reply, no thanks, I have a job. The clerk behind the window disappears to get my stuff and I'm stuck outside in the open standing right next to what amounts to a drug selling would-be burglar. After a while the silence and tension gets unbearable and I ask him what his proposed opportunity entails. Just then the clerk comes back, gives me my stuff, and shouts out the window, "Yo, what's up, Daniel?" or something along those lines. The shady guy shakes his head and starts to walk away. I pay for my stuff, start walking along under the lights along the white wall of the building so I can be seen in case anything happens, and I see to my left that this shady guy is following me, walking parallel to me in the parking lot where it's dark. He calls over to me and starts walking towards me. I'm all like nope, so I curve my arms up so my hands are in my armpits and I crouch down with a wide stance and walk sideways in a crab walk, gorilla style fashion, and start screaming obscenities about aliens and Arabic coffee. The guy takes one look at me and makes a run for the bus stop. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K. Don't hit me, I'll hit me. My favorite works best in sports. It's more of a way to get into other people's mind and screw them up. Say you're playing against a guy, girl who is just on fire, completely in the zone and dominating. Casually ask, hey, what did you change to X better? Or something to that effect. I've done it in volleyball where I ask a guy who's been hitting amazing, I've never seen you jump so high before. What did you change? More often than not it throws them off their game. Done it in hockey too, hey, your shot looks amazing. What foot are you leading with? If you have to exert authority, act as though your orders would never be questioned, and you'll be fine. If you have to throw someone out of a place, just keep advancing on them until they're out the door. When trying to get away with something sketchy, not illegal per se, but frowned upon, walk into the place like you own it. Don't glance around. Don't even stop for a second or look confused. 9 times out of 10 nobody will question you. You can get away with lots of things that way. Nobody questions a man with a clipboard who looks like he belongs there, or a man in a nice suit walking quickly. Make sure the tie is placed over one shoulder to give the impression that you are hurrying about, too busy to correct something so trivial as your tie. My history teacher taught me that trick. He was never once bothered for something while in tie mode. It occurred to me a while back that a security uniform, any security uniform, will get you past everyone, including security guards from a different company with a completely different uniform. As a security contractor, businesses at malls, for example, will call me to watch their store specifically for different reasons, mostly at night. Once time I got lost, I ended up at the entrance of a closed department store at a mall, and the manager himself pretty much ushered me in. If I hadn't asked how to get to my destination, he would have just bolted off and I would have had the place to myself. It's not the first time I wandered into places I shouldn't be, completely unchallenged. Also, it's really nice for when I want to smoke a joint in plain view. Cops just nod or wave at me, no matter where I am standing at whatever time of night, with absolutely no idea if I should be there or not. And all my uniform consists of his black slacks and a polo with an arm and chest patch. Nothing flashy or even that noticeable. Most of the time I feel as though I'm just dancing in everyone's peripheral vision, and they contrive for themselves that whoever I am, I should be here and don't need to be questioned. It's a head trip. Have someone lay on their back on the ground and hold their legs straight up, so their body is making a 90-degree angle. Have them close their eyes and relax their body completely. Hold that position for about 60 seconds, then very slowly start lowering their legs towards the ground. It's critical they keep their eyes closed and ask them to tell you to stop when they feel their legs are about to hit the ground. They will always say stop way before it hits the ground, and then you say, well, now I'm going to drop your legs through the floor, and keep lowering their legs down onto the ground slowly. It feels really weird and always works, but I guess it's more of a mind-body trick. The blood drains out of their legs, and with their eyes closed they can't get a good read on where their legs are. I was expecting the words, and then you penetrate any moment. I discovered this one from my mother. Actually, if you're out and about and come across hooligans or other ne'er-do-wells that might be up to something, such as smashing things up, who might well become confrontational. You need to approach them and ask for a light, or the time. As you walk up, they'll be ready for a fight. When they realize that you, as a sole person, has approached them as a group and asked something innocuous and unrelated to their activities, they will very likely give you the time, light that you ask for, then shuffle off with a bemused feeling. I'm not advocating that you should go out and try it, but only if you might have to pass by an incident going on where they notice you and you don't want any trouble. Of the 3 times in my life that I have been in this situation, it has always worked. FYI, here in Scotland, got the time mate is used by chavs to distract you for a second so they can beat you up. Courtesy of Darren Brown. If you want to keep the seat next to you free on a crowded train, bus, etc., look at the people walking towards you and tap the seat with your hand. I think this one is pretty well known by now, but when high-fiving, look at their elbow and you'll never miss. I tell people that the trick is to actually look at their own elbow, and then I give them a good smack in the face. Not really a mind trick, but if you have confidence in what you are saying and can back it up with false facts, you can get people to do almost anything. Go up to someone in a restaurant and tell them to close their eyes and picture a playing card. While they are doing this, eat as much of their food as you can and run away. I've done this many times. This is probably silly, but you know that thing where if you repeat a word enough it loses its meaning? Well, I've convinced myself that there is some kind of similar thing going on with pain. If I'm in pain, if I focus 100% on the pain and block out everything else, the pain kind of loses its meaning. I still feel it, but it's no longer pain. It's just what is. I tested your theory by plunging a knife into my leg, and I must say I disagree with your methodology. I also tested this theory by plunging a knife into my leg. Oddly enough, the knife turned into a spoon. Please someone else try this and let me know if you get the same effect. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.